In today's video, we are going to be continuing our volume unit and now also finding the volume of a different figure called a right circular cone. So when you think of a cone, you think of those big orange things in the middle of the street when they want to direct traffic or block certain things off. All right. So we're going to take a look at finding the volume of those kind of figures. So in this figure says to find the volume of a right circular cone that has a height of 30 yards and a base with a radius of 6 yards. State your answers in terms of pi, then to the nearest tenth of a yard. So I'm going to draw a cone. Okay, these are a little bit easier to draw. Not to say I'm going to be Picasso here, but they are a little bit easier to draw than the standard cylinder or rectangular prism, which was pretty bad in the last lesson. Now, the height of this is 30 yards. So that means the height is 30. And the radius is 6 yards. So again, radius is from the center of the circle to the edge. That is 6. Now, the volume of a cone has a little bit different formula than a cylinder. The cylinder is pi r squared h, but the only difference with cone, a right circular cone, it's that there is a 1/3 at the very beginning. So it adds a little bit of a wrinkle when we're plugging our numbers in, but it's not that bad. Okay. And again, when you multiply things by 1/3, it's the same thing as dividing by 3. So let's plug in our numbers. Okay. So the height is 30 in this case, right? So I'm put that there. The radius is 6. Remember, we're going to square that, 6 squared, and plug those in based on our dimensions. Now, here's what you need to do. Okay. You need to multiply. First, what I would do is take the exponent. Now, remember, when you do PEMDAS, order of operations, you always do exponents first. You figure out what 6 squared is first, then multiply by 30, then multiply by 1/3. All right. But it's important that you do the 6 squared first. Okay. That one first. So 6 squared, which I know off the top of my head is 36, but we're going to put in the calculator still. 6 squared times 30, right? And if you have a fraction button on your calculator, use that. Or if you just multiply it by 1 divided by 3, or just divide it by 3, right? Times 1 divided by 3 is 360. Ooh, I like that number. So V equals 360. Again, you bring down the pi, okay? When we want to leave it in terms of pi at the very end. Okay, now we're going to round that to the nearest tenth. So 360 times pi, leave that in your calculator, times pi is 1130.97, which bumps it up to 1131, right? Because if I bump the 9 up to a 0, that bumps up the next number. So it's 1131.0. 1131.0. What do we got? Yards cubed. Okay. Again, don't have to really type in the yards cubed into your answer. Okay. What's more important is if you're figuring this out, you're using the approximate symbol and it's not exact. And do you have it in terms of pi? So there are our two answers. All right. So really not much different than the cylinder before, except you just multiply them by 1/3. So you take these two numbers, multiply by 1/3, and then you get your answer in terms of pi. And then you get your approximated answer. All right. Let's take a look at another one. All right. This time we have decimals. Okay. I'm going to draw my cone again. Hopefully it was good as last one. Okay. Not bad. Eh. So we have a height of 8.8. Okay. 8.8. All right. That makes a 90-degree angle with the radius, right? The radius in this case is 18.6 inches. So that is 18.6. All right. Now, again, we have to figure out the radius. The diameter of this is 18.6, but our formula is 1/3 pi r squared h. That means I have to find the radius first. So we have to cut the diameter in half. Since the diameter goes from edge to edge, we need to go find the distance from the center to the edge. So 18.6, I'm going to do it over here. Radius equals 18.6 divided by 2 is, it's going to be an ugly number. I have a feeling 18.6 divided by 2 is 9.3. Not that bad. It's a decimal. It might get a little ugly when I multiply everything in here. So that is my radius, 9.3. So we plug that in. All right, the height is 8.8. Right, and then bring everything else down. And again, I'm going to do 9.3 squared first. Okay, put that in the calculator. 9.3, you already have in the calculator. Square it. Ooh, 86.49. Then multiply by 8.8. 0.8. Okay. Then multiply it by 1/3, or just divide it by 3, whatever you want. I'm going to multiply it by 1 divided by 3. And you get 253.704. 253. What was it? 704 pi. And then when I approximate my answer, I'm going to multiply it by pi. So times pi equals, yikes, rounded to the nearest hundredth. So I look after the 3, right? 3's in the 100 spot is a 4, so I keep it the same. So it is 797.03 inches cubed. All right, and those are my 2 final answers. Okay, so that the only difference today is really just multiplying by the 1/3 and getting familiar with the numbers on your calculator and making sure you know how to multiply by 1/3, or also known as dividing by 3. All right, so that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and always remember, whether you're solving for X or Y, always give math a try.